we got today. Gonna be here tonight, so let's see what we working with. Told people I was coming on. Um, Let's see what we working with. Just got on live. Just got through doing a video. See what we got. Get everything going. Get this question lined up. Getting this question lined up. Just coming on live. See what we doing. See how y'all feeling. Live and in color. I'm gonna get some of these things so I can get this stuff crackling. See what I got. See what I got. So anyway, just here right now, see what's going on. Just coming on, getting it all warmed up. Hmm. See what we doing. So somebody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Depends on what's going on. There's a lot of topics to get into. We covering the usual. What's up? What's up? Thank you for coming on. I think I covered a lot of range. If you looked at any of my videos, I just got through doing the Bill Simmons about what he said about none of the NBA players under 25 seeing Caitlin Clark. So I did the video. Thank you for the video request about Matt Barnes. I did some detective work. I hated to agree with Whitlock, and I tried to avoid. What's up? What's up? How you doing? I haven't seen this name before, so tell me where you're coming from. Glad to have you on board. So I had to talk about it. So yeah, there's a lot of topics going on. A lot, a lot. I got a feeling this poll could be interesting. Drake's gonna get a lot of fanfare, so we gonna see. Thought about it the last couple of days. If you got a legit, pardon me, slander case, you can make some things stop if you got the right logistics. If his stream game is really what it is, and them numbers and that money is what it is, he can. Anyway, what you want to talk about? Let's get it cracking. I'm here for at least a couple hours. I hope you because of Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes. On that, I never said Whitlock didn't make some valid points on some stuff. I don't care for him and his agenda. Self-loathing, I have a problem with. When he's making comments based on, as a journalist, when he's making remarks based on um, the factual, I have no problem with. It's when he be on that self-loathing and that simping, and then that self-loathing, and then that shuffling is what I got a problem with. You ain't wrong about Matt Barnes. I don't care for Matt Barnes. No, see, that's why I disagree. Kaepernick lost his livelihood, but the NFL is still putting signs and logos in the end zones, and they capitalizing over something that they talked a stupid talk about in racism when you had a guy who was talking about it and you ran him out the league. So no, no. Whitlock wasn't woke. Whitlock, like I said before, when he makes valid points about so-called journalists or people speaking, see when he talks about Matt Barnes selling himself as a certain way or Stephen A. Smith selling a certain way, I agree with him on that. Do you understand what I'm getting at? If you understand what I'm saying, give me a one or a yes. If you don't, I'll explain it another way. That's the part that I agree with him because he's calling out cap on people fraudulently selling themselves as a certain type of something that they're not. Thank you. Problem I had with him is when he be shuffling and be lying about being black in the country and the racism institutionalized, and then he gets on his simp. That's the problem I have. When he's talking actual about his actual job, the qualifications and what he is and whatnot, I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, but he's an actor. He's not even just bucking. He acts. I told you if you okay, so my video, and I've said it before about Matt Barnes. He played what 15 years for 15 teams and got a ring with Golden State. The only thing we know Matt Barnes for is that to Kobe. That's all. The bobble, the tough fake pump to Kobe. No one remembers nothing else about Matt Barnes. Only that when when he was trying to, and Kobe didn't flinch. That's the only thing that I know about his career. What else? No, help me out. What's the big shot he made? What's the big steal he made? What's the block shot he made? What's the high five he gave? What else? The only clip they ever showed with Matt Barnes is, and Kobe just didn't move. Kobe didn't move. That's all he did. I mean, even Roger Bell got more career highlights than Matt Barnes. And Roger Bell um, was like a double junior whopper metal world peace. But they fake tough guys and they be acting like they tough. I'm like, I don't remember your career. I watched your games. I don't remember. Tell you what, Ted. If you got some Matt Barnes highlights, let me know. That's the only thing I know is that's all I know. It's the only thing I remember that he ever did. Thank you. And so does Joel Osteen too. I mean, I don't remember Matt Barnes highlights. And I know he played for a bunch of teams. And I don't know how he got to be a so-called blow up analyst. What he do? What he do? What's happening? How you doing? He talked tough on TV, him and Steven Jackson. Now you got two cats, one that was never was and one that could have been. And I'm like, come on now. They not no they it ain't just all this smoke. It's more like they the real odd couple. Yeah, he is. Maybe it's because he kind of looks like a DeBarge. I don't know. Because I'm trying to figure out how he get hooked up. I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of Italians and then so on and so forth, because Mike Tirico called that game last night. I thought about you. And he was messing up too last night. They was clowning him last night. Mike Tirico back there doing the broadcast. He was all over the place last night. Your helmet looked good too. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. How you doing today though? Shimon Reamer, how you doing? Yeah. Might have been some blonde up in there. I don't know, drinking. I don't First of all, You knew you were gonna win that game. You know what? I should have known the game was in Green Bay. I don't know why I was thinking when you asked me about the game last night. Miami don't do nothing in the cold. They suck from November to January in the cold. They suck. Can't win nothing out in Miami, Florida, and they off. They need to get rid of old. They need to get rid of old Urkel because Urkel and I wore his welcome as their coach. Urkel is done. He need to be Stephon. They done. Tua looked okay, but Tyreek Hill ain't getting no touches. They soft. They soft. And those other two games, I did the video about those other two games. Oh man. Chicago need to fire that coach. I mean, what the heck was that? That's a Dak Prescott move. When he was in Dallas, no wonder the Bears are so pitiful. That was horrible the way they end that game. Not that they should have won, but they had some chances to at least tie. But Detroit could have some problems. If they keep playing like that, playing close to the vest. And the Giants actually had a chance against Dallas. Oh, he's beyond that. He's delusional. You bucking and you're delusional. You can't be both. He think his career counts. He up there selling that book. He up there posing like Thriller on his book cover, and he up there talking about they should bring a updated Urkel. I'm like, nobody wants to watch your show without your cast. Corny too, corny. How can you be corny, bucking, and delusional? That's a triple header that you don't want. Corny, bucking, and delusional. But anyway, thank you for hitting that subscription, Shaman, and people keep hitting the likes and clicks. But yeah, I had to give Whitlock that one, because he was talking from the journalist perspective. And Matt Barnes do be getting on my nerves on fake tough guy mess. He ain't do nothing when Derek Fisher snatched old girl up, but that's another story though. Tripping. Rachel Nichols man, she got some hookup. But anyway. All right now, come on, keep on talking. Let's not get quiet now. We had it going on. We got some votes here for Drake so far. And I did do a video today. Jermaine Jackson did a song called Word to the Bad where he was dissing his brother Michael back in 91. Michael found out about it. That was on LA and Babyface, Left Eye. Daryl Simmons, them guys co-wrote and produced it. Anyway, what ended up happening was Michael had that thing sanitized, so they came up with the radio version. I heard the unedited version. Point is, diss tracks that have any kind of slander or what have you, they can get yanked. They can get yanked. So if Drake got something strong, but I don't know. What did Lonzo say? Because I got doing a LaMelo, and I just got to seeing Too Raw talking about LaMelo, the Laker fan. What Lonzo say about Kobe? I know it's gonna be video worthy, so go ahead and tell me. And Lonzo, I almost forgot he's still playing. I know he's still rapping. And again, if you play for the Bulls, I'm bound to forget you. I keep thinking Zach LaVine is about 36. I don't know why. Seems like he's been playing forever. Because him and what's his butt used to have a slam dunk contest every year. Or whatchamacallit for the Nuggets. And that was their whole thing. They weren't doing nothing else. He said Kobe's name. Okay, let me write that down. Um, the most shots thing wouldn't take you out the GOAT conversation. Him not being the best player in the NBA, he played with Shaq. Shaq was better than him when they played together. So he was not there. Jordan was better than him. Um, Tim Duncan and Dick, I always had Duncan over Kobe. I think if I was going to say Nash won MVP, Shaq was, I'd say you could make a case for Kobe probably 26, 2007, maybe, but that's questionable. The problem was wasn't winning. And when the time he did win those two rings later on in his career, he wasn't the best player in the league. I don't think he belongs in the GOAT conversation. I will say that. I don't. Shaq was better the two for the career. I think Duncan was better than Kobe. I thought Kobe was a great player, but I think that he won, I'm gonna tell you, now he won with Gasol, which was big pickup. Had he won with Lamar, uh, I think that would have been intriguing. Had he won with Lamar, that'd have been his Jordan Pippen situation. He had to have a big no, because he kept trying to recapture the formula. Think about it. Paul Gasol got the three. They went three finals. They won two. Then he tried to bring Dwight Howard. Then he said when Dwight made him appreciate Shaq, he only could win with the big dominant player. And then, of course, with Phil Jackson in the triangle. So he never was. And I'm one of those people that think him and Dwayne Wade are tied for second best two guards ever. I'm going to stick to it. Because I think if you give Shaq, D Wade, they win the same amount of rings as he did with Kobe. I do. Because remember, D Wade got hurt. They got hurt in '05 against the Pistons. So when that one go on, who knows? I think he could win with that. The difference was Dwayne was a better defensive player. Kobe was a better offensive player. It's kind of like your peanut butter and jelly. You make a trade off. And Scottie Pippen said they was tight. He said they was neck and neck for a while, quite a while. So that's kind of for me. I could go like with that. Um, I think people get romanticized by how he scored the 81 and what he did. And he was a great offensive force, no doubt. But there was a lot of things that were sacrificed. Those years without Shaq, which people don't talk about, they went through Rudy Tomjanovich, brought Phil back, choked a game 7 at home against Phoenix. Was that first round in '06? That was on him. He played horrible. See, my knocks against Kobe is simple. I seen him pout and act all indifferent cost his team situations. So that works against him, far as I'm concerned. I'm going by basketball. And so Shaq's father, the sergeant, Philip Harrison, once said about Kobe, he said, if that kid could see the court, he'd be the greatest. I concurred. I think that he didn't play an all around game. I think he did so much show me. And he played into Hollywood with the theatrics with his shots behind the hoop. And he did a lot of, but a lot of times it was over the top. Keeps your game simple. You bring more people in. I think history will paint him better. I do. But LeBron's not in the GOAT conversation either. So, no. Ask me who's better. I take Kobe over LeBron right now because LeBron's not aging well. And I think Paul Gasol got a chance to shine with him. But you knew what you stood with Kobe. It wasn't that fraudulent mess that LeBron be pulling like he missed a teammate and get everybody involved. There's the difference. So, but I'm not listening to uh you know, Melo Ball. That's funny. But missing the most shots ain't gonna work against you. But you could make the case he wasn't. I mean, you could make a case he wasn't. You can. It's kind of like how people look at Jay-Z. Was he ever the best rapper in the game? He stood around a long time, he had success. Does that make you necessarily the best? It's a lot of things involved. I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to wonder when, because with Kobe, I could say there was a couple years in there. Not when Shaq was at his peak in his prime, though. The 96 through '04, yeah. So what do you think about what I said about Kobe? You agree or not? If you agree, give me a 1. If you disagree, give me a 2 and tell me why. Because I want to have some real feedback on this. I'm curious about your thoughts. Oh, yeah, well, Tim Scott was bad enough, but Byron went an extra mile. He really went extra for Trump. He went extra, and it doesn't pay. Donald Trump must be watching these videos. He must watch what you say. He sure don't pay. Because these cats be slurping and I'm gonna outdo you, master. I'm gonna do more for you, master. And then when he gets what he wants out of him, he go pick somebody that's sitting in the side. It's like clockwork. That's how you know this stuff writes itself. Pitiful. Diddy. Diddy gonna win. Diddy, 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 Diddy. Cause you gotta be delusional to think these folks is just gonna get impressed by your money to let you out. He is the ultimate. Diddy. Diddy. He getting used and abused left and right. I'm watching Michael Franchese, mobster cat, now preacher, got bodyguards. Bodyguards telling Diddy stories, making money. Bodyguards is on it. He's still thinking that he can allure these judges and these people to let him out. They're taking his money. They're making a joke out of him. That's too easy. You asked me who I think of the month. I said Diddy. Who tried to get out of jail? Who always trying to get out of jail? Who always trying to intimidate witnesses or acting like he said, well, what's the difference between me and Trump? I said, duh, if I gotta tell you now, you ain't really understood your blackness, Diddy. No, that's Diddy. Van is the week. That's by the week. You said the month. There's a difference. Van every week, he's always on the board, but Diddy's gonna win every month. Diddy winning every month. Van will win every other day, but Diddy's gonna win every month. The ones that somehow got the delusion. Well, he's too easy. He cry all the time with his glasses on. Glasses all fog up. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, Van. Van plays both sides of the fence. So he break down like killing me softly is playing in the background. He's doing a lot of acting though. A lot of this acting. And you know this. That's what that is. He's a good actor. Now she knew the deal when she went in. She probably divorced him because what ended up happening is that he probably was boasting and bragging about who he was gonna rub shoulders with, and he didn't get the bag because that's what he strike me out. No, he ain't gonna cry for Sonya Mason. He cried because about the money. You gotta remember something. He cried on cue. He represents them both. He been going to the Al Sharpton School of Politics. That's what's up. The ex-wife already knew what was up with him. It's about that bag, yo. Van ain't no secret. It's about that money. They know what's up. Vanna Jones. You said Vanna Jones like Vanna White. Yeah, he cried and he cried when Biden won. He cried when Obama won. He cried all the time. I can't tell when he crying because he's sad or because he mad or what. I don't know. He just cried. And listen, I ain't gonna say nothing wrong with no man crying because men got two pair of eyes, but he be acting all the time. I don't know which Van Jones is the right one. I don't even know. I don't think he do either because he's so on cue. He probably got an onion in his hanky, be like, oh, girl," you know, probably got an onion in his pocket. I don't know. I try not to pay him a lot of attention because I already know that he's bought and paid for. All of them, because he's ridiculous, because he's so on cue. It's like this dude will find and he don't have no it's not crying because you really are authentic. Yeah, he'll cry at anything. He cried when Auto-Tune died. T-Pain ain't gonna do Auto-Tune no more. "Well, you're not gonna do Auto-Tune no more? No more Auto-Tune?" I mean, I don't know. But see, That's part of the entertainment industry. And they like a black man sit up there and just be all marshmallow about anything. He fits a criteria. They like him. They like him. They don't even know why they like him because what does he do? Yep. He's like I said, if he was an R&B singer, you'd love him. But see, you'd hate him because your girlfriend or your wife would probably be like, "Oh, buying all that." She said, "You're like you ain't sensitive like him, Ted." See, he breaks down and takes his glass off. He go like, "Girl, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you, but I'm gonna start crying right now." Ooh. And John Legend ain't got nothing on him. No, no, no. He'll make that face like he gets sad, but no, no. Don don't act like that. Lemon drops don't act like that. Lemonade don't act like that. But see, Van, they cut from different cloths. Van is more he's an actor. He's into the theater. He's bougie as all get out. Don worked his way to get bougie. Van is bougie. There's a difference, you know. Don had to work that way. Van is bougie. There's a difference. Every time I see Van Jones, he always got something crying about. I don't pay that turkey no mind. You can't get on CNN if you ain't somewhere in your feelings and your brother. So that's how it go. That's how I go. That's why Cameron was my favorite person they ever had interviewed on that network. Because they said, "What you think about that?" He said, "I don't know what to think. What am I supposed to think?" They don't usually have people on there that be real. So just saying. Just saying. But anyway, I don't, you know how it is. But he do. Anybody on board, feel free to come on through. If you're watching, feel free to what's happening, what's happening, what's happening. Tell me where you're coming from. If you got a legit question, let's talk about it. If you want to discuss the poll question, feel free. As long as you're not trolling, I will answer you. I will give you respect. We talk about whatever. We got open season today. Got another question. So far. Ooh. You sound like you're a troll. Do I look like I'm not no good to talk about that. I mean, you can do what you know. He got well, so let's go back. CNN let his butt go because they tried to railroad him. They pushed him on the morning show. That's how he got his wake up call. Initially, he was the evening. He thought he was going to be the HINC for the nighttime. And they put him in the daytime, and it was early. And then they gave Caitlin Collins got all his juice. They ran him out. That's what they did. But he got the last laughter because they suck right now. They don't have nobody in there. They didn't win. They didn't win Fox News Light over there, and they are pretty pathetic right now. So, but he got dissed by Elon Musk though. Okay. Oh, there's a long line. Are you ready? I'm gonna throw some names out. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to mention in no order. No order. Tim Scott, Byron Donald, um, 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 Daniel Cameron, Candace Owens, LeBron James, because them Diddy party things is he's associate. They about to wake him up. Oh, I can see his coming. Um, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, they got you for the little trigger thing. The NFL being petty, wake you up, wake up, wake up. Um, okay, Trey Songs. Yeah, Trey Songs about to got it. Got hit with that judgment. Woo. 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 Kanye West too. Mm-hmm. Who else I want to pick on? Oh, you didn't hear about that? Um, Judgment in Las Vegas. Because him and his boys beat the snot out of the guy. $11 million. Said he's ordered to pay. He ain't got no $11 million. Yeah. Trey Songz is held accountable. They beat the dude up. No, because he got this money. And Mike ain't really in denial about nothing. Mike's in his own orbit. His wasn't there's nothing, there was no surprise or shock there. I think it he no, no, no. He got his wake up call 30 years ago, if you want to go like that, 32 years ago with that charge. But as far as disco, no. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Um, Let me see. I gotta think of somebody else to come to mind. Who else would I pick on? Oh, I gotta think. Who would I pick on? I'm gonna hold off on what I said about Michael Parsons. I'm gonna see what happens, what the Cowboys decide to do. But if he don't get dealt, if he do get dealt, that'll be one. Um, it's gonna be somebody. It's coming. 86% think Drake's gonna win something against Kendrick Lamar. That's interesting. So far, somebody say Drake. Some people may say Drake with the wake up call. Someone may say Drake. Little Wayne's getting a wake up call. He's still crying about not getting that Super Bowl shot. He's still upset. He's still in denial. There you go. There you go. There you go. I saw that. What's up with Kenny? Kenny working for Clutch now. Actually, I like Jalen Rose with them better than Kenny anyway. Kenny sold out. Kenny up there talking about LeBron's one of the three best players going in today's game. Charles and Shaq were like miles dropped to the floor. Jalen keeps it real. I like Jalen. I think he'll be a good fit. I like him. Jet kind of disappointed me though, but you know how it go. Anybody on, please feel free to hit the like, subscribe. And if you got any questions, you want to hit that poll, feel free. Mm, you got to elaborate on that one. I don't see a lot of them getting no wake up call. I see a lot of them playing sleep. Black wrestlers don't speak out about the racism that Vince McMahon bestowed on the others. Not where they form something together. Not that they say that they're being owned and operated. And who owns the name of them? They'd have a chance to really say something if they came out and said that The Rock was a 101. If they came out and told the truth. Yeah, but does that stop them from making money? No. So Doesn't stop him from making no money. You know, you gotta like have a valid point with what you're gonna put down, and you gotta, yeah, and it's messed up his season too because they haven't done nothing. He ain't really been the same since well, the problem that he run into beyond that is that Tua is always one good hit from being scrambled eggs. The boy wonder head coach is getting out coached every week. And they can't play in the cold, so they only good for what? 10 games? And then seven is a loss. So well, I would like to think he been woke up before that, but I like to think that it wasn't just because of that. Because I mean, it ain't like he been in an industry that he if he tried for any other roles besides the shuffling roles, it's not like he had a big old form of like, yeah, because you're successful, we're gonna hire you to do this and that. So I like to think, but Marlon, and you would think his brothers would have told him the politics of the business and the politics they got to go through. Can't be that oblivious to it. Please continue to hit the like, subscribe, and if you got any questions, feel free to come through. Just waiting to see what we're working with. I like aspects of the show. I was glad to see that they got some juice, but he always was corny to me though. What's happening? How you doing? Welcome back again today. Thank you for coming back. And by all means, anybody coming in, feel free to participate in the poll. And if you got any questions, let's go. The Rock show I'll give you. I didn't think the Wayne show. I do know about that remark about John Witherspoon, but I didn't look at the Wayans brothers show being any more blacker than watching A Man. So I think Rock I'll give you. Doing okay, just chilling, just trying to stay warm. How about yourself? All right, just trying to stay warm today. Still can't get over it. I guess the Drake thing got a lot of strong. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you for coming through today. For some people celebrating Good Friday, does it even make a difference? I don't know. From yesterday, yes. So they say that that was a myth. They said it wasn't actual, but I will say this: myth or no myth, the problem I actually have is that people diss the homeless. But how come you gonna sit up in a tent with a porta potty, being outside to go grab some items that are already on sale, which been on sale for a month? Make that make sense. It's one of the most strangest things I've ever seen. People go on about it. These stores are pathetic. because they ought to know good and well that all the stuff is on sale. There's not going to be any more money if you come in early. And then the stampedes and the way people get stamped out, it's bad. So yeah, some people participate in it though. But mm, yeah, so yeah, pretty much. Well, there's some other folks who did it too, but predominantly, yeah. I ain't giving up no 2 or 3 in the morning, no tent, no porta potty to be waiting outside to get some items in the window. I'm not doing that. But I know folks who did it. I said, more power to you. I'm gonna turn over 3 ways. Okay. What you mean it was hilarious? What did I say that was hilarious? I don't even remember. What did I say? Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Ain't nothing like a good mug. What did I say that was hilarious? I'm trying to figure out. I'm lost. You got me on this one. Tell me what I said and I'll react. If you talking about the tent and you porta potty and you out there waiting in the cold, yeah, them turkeys be all outside, all hanging out, old funky porta pot, and they be like looking and did and I'm like, ain't nobody gonna get up. I'm like thinking I'm turning over about 2, 3 times, 2, 3 in the morning. I ain't not gonna be sitting out no port out doing that. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I understand the cup. I ain't never done it. I seen them though. I'm walking by and they just be standing all outside and ain't doing it. Okay. I will, okay. So yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I don't be understanding that. Even if the tent was warm and I had food and I had good access to the bathroom, I don't know if I'd be outside like that. I ain't never ever wanted to go to Best Buy that bad or TJ Maxx or Walmart. None of them places that bad. I'm with it. I ain't got no problem with it. Football fans love it. I've watched so many games when it was cold that that's the norm. So, you know, so that's how I look at the cold games. We good. Yeah, so cold weather's par for the course. Guys make adjustments all the time. You know, you just get to get grip on the ball. That's what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady did. But ain't anybody gonna throw no flat football in the cold. That's why Andrew looked like a wiener. Something wrong with that turkey. Ain't nobody gonna throw no flat football in the cold. If you use it to know what you're doing, But you gotta know how to run. But believe it or not, one of the best games I ever saw someone playing in the cold was Ricky Williams. He had never experienced it. He played incredible in the cold. Mm. It's cold in Green Bay too. No. And I know y'all call it football, we call it soccer, but no, it's not surprising. It happens. Sports and sexual identity don't have any place. Identity, you can like sport. No. Yeah, Marino did, but they didn't have a good defense and their line was suspect. And they were pulling the ball, moving around. Do you find? No. Yeah, he did. But Marino, again, that wasn't the reason why they lost, though. There was other factors. They didn't have the running game, and their defense was suspect. Still doesn't take that he was one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, which he was. But don't compare. Before you go there, this ain't like Tua and this Dolphins team. Mahomes is just a battler. That's all. It's a different level. I told you that's why he's in that top tier echelon. I don't put everybody on that echelon. So mm, just studying everything. Yeah, Mahomes can play in all different weathers, but again, he's a mobile, agile quarterback. And Marino was staying still, so it all depends. Yeah, after that play calling, I mean that's a disaster. They had a good picture to put together. A very serious team. Mhm. They're not gonna do nothing now. The Bears don't know what to do with offense. That's what the problem is. And when they do get offensive minded coach, their defense tends to suck, so they can't get it right. The Bills play it's a dangerous game. They're at the Rams next week. And I say that's dangerous because stat pad can hit you a bomb if you ain't playing the right way. If we go in there and play kind of lackadaisical, that could be a problematic game. They're a dangerous team if he gets off the back foot. But if you keep him forward, make him have to play the foot, make him play around the circle, make them have to run and attack him, then there's not much to him. So the Rams are a dangerous team, though. Yeah, that's next Sunday. Wait a minute, it's this Sunday. Yeah, this Sunday. It's a tough game because the Rams ain't gonna be no pushover. Yeah, Mm, mm. Plattsburgh's Hall of Famer? No. What universe? Plaxico Burress Hall of Famer? No. What? No. I like Plex too. But Hall of Famer how? We never ever have his name come up in discussion amongst the best receivers. He was very good. Well, yeah, I forgot about that. That one is true. He's a company man. You know how he is. He's a company man. That's true about Strahan. I got respect for him as a player and also what he's going through with his daughter. But however, I can't go for all the shuffling and grinning. And they don't like him. So, yeah, just trying to read that. Yeah, Strahan, you know. Yes, the boss. There you go. You ask who's the one of the month. There you go. See, when you say stuff like that, oh boy. Oh man. You may as well be locked up with Diddy. Because if you're gonna say some stuff like that, and I have to look at Howie Long, Brady, Jimmy Johnson, side eye. Yeah, he did. Trying to get this thing together. Keep on commenting, just waiting, waiting, and waiting. No, I'm not shocked. Cause first of all, if you pay attention to him right, he wears that suit. He's working for corporate America. I think you still remember when he's with the Giants and they beat Dallas and he did Jim Jones. He says, "We get high and fly." Remember when he did that? When they beat Rome on them and he did the Jim Jones and Dipset, Jules Santana. I mean, but he's no different than a lot of the rappers. A lot of them be acting just like that and get corporate, so it's not a shock. Most of those cats that wear a suit on Hollywood, they all go to kiss the ring. You don't get through without something strange. Strahan was from New York, an athlete. He won 2 rings, and they got him hooked up. How did they hook him up? How is he flying in the blue shuttle to go to the moon without something strong? Come on now, he got some money behind him. Yeah, you know. Come on now. Yeah, I did a video about that, and I've said it before. He's gonna have to be accountable for association with Diddy, Beyonce, Jay, all 3 of them. because they all in on something. So something that time. But yeah, that's my thoughts about the straight hand thing. What's a good point? Tell me what's a good point. What's a good point? Oh, it's Daniel Cameron. Because Tim Scott was had a job. Tim Scott already got the job Daniel Cameron been wanting to have. Daniel Cameron didn't do nothing about Breonna Taylor. You're trying to be lieutenant governor. He's trying to have some. Tim Scott's already in a figure position. But Daniel Cameron was going out of his way to extra grab and shine the shoes, and they said, nope, you know, not good enough. Yeah, a straight hand. So I followed him. I mean, what they do, they have corporate people that they see, that they bring in, that um they run like a test on folks. You have folks that they have folks that they run a test on. They want to see them, they want to see, do they test right for the audience, you know? And the audience can be me or you. Um Charm school. It's like, okay, this person is going to hit, this person's not going to hit, this person is going to, you know, it's a charm school. And so which criteria do you fall into? You know. Now the problem, I'm sure that Warren Sapp was just too greasy for him. Okay, can I say that? It's Oprah, of course. The bigger, let me preface by this. You answer your questions. Let me tell you these guys, I don't mind this. The answer is the one that's the bigger of the two. It's never the lesser than. Now, Tim Scott is bigger than Daniel Cameron, and I will make this exception. There is very few usually, but the ones who've done the most of it. But in this case, it's Oprah. Because Stacey Dash ain't got no career. She's still being played on broke black channels at 3 in the morning. So all that didn't do nothing. Oprah, in the meanwhile, sold out everything and everybody. Everybody know that Oprah is the queen pin of that. Stacey Dash is a never was. We like her because we liked her way she used to look back in the day and Clueless and all that. They don't care about her beyond a certain form. She cares no way. This is a good one. This is the best one yet. It's obviously going to be, drum roll please. And it's close too. It's Tyler Perry because he's got the sway of Oprah and them. Spike's there. Don't get it twisted. Spike's right on the back, but he never was big as Tyler Perry. If you don't make no money, you don't shuffle the same. They don't mind you. They'll bring you in, and you do get to dance at the back end of the lot. But Tyler got him beat. But it's not that far off though. This one is tougher. You keep getting tougher. Jay-Z, because he took the oath, the same one that the one thing about Dre, you knew about them headphones, and he tends to keep his business low. Jay-Z, by association with everybody, it's going all the way. The money and association is going all the way. All those awards, all that stuff. But it's close though. They both like neck and neck. But Jay-Z. Mhm. Because they really act like they use him as some kind of influencer. I don't know what that means. John Jones, cause that mess at the with the doing the little Trump dance at the fight was embarrassing. B-Hop ain't no commercial threat. Usually, the bigger is the one that brings in the bigger bag. John Jones got some bag to bring in. B-Hop, I saw that mess. I said this to Elon Musk and them. I mean, see, these cats go extra. That's how it's the giveaway right there. And that's the giveaway right there. Mhm. But they all, everyone you mention, you can say it's close. There's one that's over the other, but they all it's close though, because they all bad. It's just the ones that I pick. The only reason why I didn't pick Spike more is because Spike does halfway associate with Denzel, and yeah, he was. And Spike does kind of give off some down flavor, but he didn't definitely sold out once he got that Oscar. He lost his mind. Dre with Jimmy Iovine gave us money to USC. Talking about I want to give that to a school, and I'm looking at Dre like, okay, you know, and I know all about B Hop. But most boxers are tap shuffling now, most boxers, because it's no different than rapping and singing. One of the things you get over once you get past the tough guy facade and the mean mugging and all that, the boxers usually are considered kind of simple and dumb. And that means that Mr. Mayonnaise comes along and says, "Hey, here's some money. And what you like? You want some marshmallows for your nostrils? You want some of these the Krispy Kreme cakes over there? What you want? Want a Cadillac? Yeah, boss. Yeah." See, I could go on about boxers. Sports profession is no different than the music industry and the sports entertainment. They have agents. Who do the agents look like? Usually, most of these cats that come along don't have no rapport with anyone that looks like them, professional capacity, the system, and everything. So you get this illusion that these cats is down brothers, like they're gonna be like Fred Williamson, like they gonna talk like some out of the 70s, gonna be like, "What you talking about, Turkey? I'm not gonna go like that. What you talking about?" Mike Tyson is a great example of that. Now, I'm not saying no shuffle because Mike is Mike and he has his issues, etc. But if you think about him right, that's kind of like there was a difference between him and Ali, you know. And so, believe it or not, as raw as Mike is, Mike plays the game. Mike fits in, as twisted as it works. So it's a difference of the connotation. I'm just saying. Now I can show you some brothers who never shuffled that I can tell you that I could tell you. That's why they never got no love. When they don't get no love, you like Larry Holmes. Okay? There you go. You wanted one, there you go. Holyfield tries to. They keep one foot in, they do the hokey pokey with him. One foot left foot and right foot out. He never quite gets all of it. Too country. Tell you who what? That didn't sell out? Larry Holmes didn't. That's why he never got no love. He still tell you that his last day that he beat Sugar Ray Leonard. Sent him off the Italy, didn't get no love. Mm, the one that's kind of hard to figure out because he dangles as far as I'm concerned is Floyd Mayweather. Sometimes he says some things that I think he didn't. Sometimes I think he did. It depends on where he's going with it. But he's more crossover because of the money he makes, not because they love him so. He made himself into a figure like that. Um, Jack Johnson wasn't back in the day. Mm, Oh, he is. He is. He is, but then he flip flops. See, when I say that, he is, but then he doesn't really go all the way into the situation where he makes himself available for other sides either. He does it, but then he doesn't, you know. Case in point was him and 50 Cent. 50 Cent went all in for Trump. Floyd didn't. Take it how you want. No. Floyd's a very Floyd's all over the place though. But I've heard some things. Oh yeah, 50 turned down 3 million to play at Trump's rally. You heard about that, right? Why you offer $3 million to play at a rally if you ain't down with somebody? Think about that. 50 plays both sides though, so you know he bought and paid for. Yeah, well, yeah, because with the headphones, I mean, they sold it to Apple, so he worked with Jimmy Iovine. I mean, come on now. And I say that to say that he's always been crossover and he's always had marketing, but it's the way he carries himself. You know, he's always had like a situation where he was, um, his kind of popularity. But a lot of what he be selling, his subject matter. No, no. And I'm gonna talk about that right now. I'm glad you brought him up. His contract with Black America just made him question both sides. Cube was saying make the best interest for yourself. No, Cube's a businessman. I don't always like some of the choices he makes. I think he make them hood movies, which I have problems with some of that stuff. But he found a lane that made him work. He talk about a lot of the same stuff. Cube's one of those kind of people that he plays the black Archie Bunker role, if you will, and people ran with it, and he has a certain demeanor about him. But the thing about with Cube, he never put himself dangled. He didn't get caught dangling. Let me tell you what dangling means. Dangling is what Snoop Dogg does, what Jay-Z does, what Puffy does, what LL Cool J does. Cube promotes his projects and he goes out for them, but I don't get no extra out of it. He ain't really gone out of his way to wear extra ice and to put his business like that out there. He hooked his son up. He's been actually talking from a perspective about his perspective on things. So I don't get that kind of problem with him. I don't. And him and Dre are two different men. He still talks from aesthetic like he's still battle rapping. So besides, how can I call a guy something like that when he called out Jerry Heller and No Vaseline? And also the other factor is that he still stands he's talked about stuff openly in the industry. He just kind of goes and does what he do and keeps it going. But you know, the only thing that you can raise a flag about is obviously with the movies. That ain't no breaking news. What's not breaking news? That's not breaking news. That idiot lost that team when they lost to Washington. Okay. They should have fired him when they lost that game to Washington. Okay. Because I'm sure Caleb is probably thinking that game right there was the turning point of their season. And think about it. They're 4-8 now. They lost four straight games. They win that game and they win that game yesterday. They in the playoffs. Those 2 games are indication they've blown 2 games of bad situation. Poor, sorry excuse for a coach. Media got something to think, but that Washington game is what got him fired. They quit on him after that game. You do know that, right? That game against Arizona, they dropped a dud. They stunk. Then they lost a close game to Minnesota last week. Think about it. Though I think you win that Washington game, the Minnesota game, and this game, you might be what 6-6, 7-5. But nope, 4-8. And it went down the tubes after that game in DC. So that's not breaking news. He should never been getting the job no way. But that's what lost it. They went up and and they were talking about benching Caleb too. There's some bad play calling, but that's not breaking news. That's the duh. That's the duh. Problem is they can't ever get the right coach for their team. That's their problem. They suck and they're gonna be in for a long season. So yeah. But am I shocked that he got fired? No. Should he have gotten fired? Yep. 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry, that Washington game was the end of their season right there. Caleb Williams probably don't get rookie of the year today. At losing that game, that was all she wrote. So, so I wonder who they gonna replace him with for the interim. They don't, but they wrecked up a potentially decent season. Yeah, I'm serious too. Could have had 4 teams coming out that division for the playoffs because they had a pretty good situation. Their defense was playing good. Their special teams and Caleb started waking up after week 3. But that loss in Washington, that was what sealed the deal. I don't care what they try to say. A fingertip where a guy is taunting the fans and the ball ricochets off his finger and you lose a game, that's coaching. That's lack of discipline. That's lack of awareness. You don't recover from that. And you've seen what's happened. They've lost, you know. Good coach comes back. They were flat against Arizona. They played pretty good against the Vikings. And they played aside from that bad play calling against Detroit. So that's how I feel about it. But I'm not no Bears fan, so I ain't got no feeling about it. Heck no. For what? As a movie role? They're not Super Bowl contending team. They're not a second. They're not a second team that's gonna go 2 rounds. He ain't going nowhere where he ain't gonna go nowhere unless it's set up where him. I told you where his best option is. I already told you. That's to the 49ers. Shenanigans. Let Belichick have a shot. Belichick wouldn't go to no Chicago. Unless Buddy Ryan was back on the sidelines and their defense was stellar, and all you need to do is come up with a decent offense. But they're not that good. So no, I told you Frisco. Frisco makes the most sense. Frisco. Ain't nobody saying gonna coach Dallas because Meathead is, they gotta have quarterback. They gotta have a coach like that. So nothing for the Cowboys. Please continue to hit the like and subscribe. And if you got any questions, come on through. I see some people on there. So feel free. I'm gonna be on for another 30 minutes. Hopefully we can boost these numbers up, get people to come through. I'd say Eli would have a better chance than Peyton. I don't think Peyton would really to go into the details. I see Peyton being like a GM. Eli got a chance to probably be a coach. He looked like the type. Something about that hair and that those eyebrows, like he would be a coach. Peyton would either talent scout or be a GM. They only go to Super Bowl is if they get consistency in the postseason. They won't go no Super Bowl if they look sloppy. They got some big games still to come up. I'm not going to say nothing until I see it unravel because the problem is they play in a sorry division. Miami lost, so they're 5 games ahead of whoever's near them. That's dangerous. Are you that good or is your division that whack? So you can answer that. They go if they beat Kansas City or they play with some better poise of defense and they run the ball and Josh Allen ain't got to do everything, then they do. The goal would be them to play Detroit in the Super Bowl. So we'll see. But he looks determined. But again, he's thrown some bad picks recently. He's had a few suspect games. They got to figure out a way to utilize James Cook. So as long as he don't get caught playing hero ball, I think they got a chance. But if they play hero ball, and that's the only problem I had with Josh. So if they get Pachenko back, their defensive line holds up, and they can run, and they keep the mistakes down, they hard to beat. I mean, if they're first or second seed, it's gonna be hard to beat them. I'm just gonna keep it 100. And I can tell you it's gonna be tough to beat them. I already know. Because they got 10 wins. I think they need 2 or a version of us in New England and them splitting. Upset what in the tummy? We're gonna beat them in those no. How? How? They wouldn't do it though. Uh Russell gotta play better than he's looked lately. Have you seen his games lately? They better play better than what I've seen lately. They lost their last game. They got beat by Cleveland. I'm telling you, I'm not sold on Pittsburgh like that. I'm gonna tell you why. They're playing that old style, first one to 17 to 20, and then we can hold off. Yeah, that's the problem that you hope that it says. Like, I don't think so. I don't think though. I think Kansas City comes out and play their way. They'll make short work of them. So I think they that Wade Phillips way of scoring 17 points, the old Tampa way, Baltimore way. They're not gonna win like that. And Russell's gonna take a pound and somewhere gonna get him. Mhm. No, well, I come in at different times, Will. I come in at different times, sometimes earlier, sometimes later. Tomorrow, if everything goes the same, I might come in earlier. Mm, I say he's a great I don't know about calling him a wizard. See, a guy that's a wizard is like what Joe Gibbs did when he won with 3 different quarterbacks in Washington, you know? Mm, Don Shula did stuff like that. I'm talking about going to the show. I ain't talking about getting through the season having plus 500 of your play. I'm talking about where you were a threat. I wouldn't go that far with Tomlin, but he's great for what he is now. I know you ain't gonna come in here putting yourself up there with Ted behind that mess. You struggle to beat the sorry Giants with Drew Whack Luck. That's hilarious. You're slick. You think you slick. You should have lost that game. Lucky Drew Luck's whack behind through that pick, and they had a chances to beat y'all. Man, is it what we come down to, Cowboy fans? You used to put a 30-40 burger on this team. Now you win by a touchdown and you excited to beat the Giants. Oh wow. Wow. You beat the Giants by wow. You used to put 40 on them. You struggling to beat them with a third string quarterback. Drew Luck, who was far cry from Andrew Luck. Yeah, you gonna say that because you ain't gonna last long. Ain't gonna last long. Y'all got a tough schedule coming up, so when y'all get back, that will be short lived. Green Bay is legit. They spanked Miami. Y'all not legit. And you know good and well you don't want to go in the playoffs, have to go to Lambeau and get stomped out. Cooper hype. Well, Andrew Beverly. I'm trying to think. Cooper Rush is showing his true selves. He's a third tier quarterback who throws a couple nice passes and got lucky. But he looked pretty bad with that fumble. He did fumble that ball by the goal line. They didn't reverse it though. I'm not sold on him. You're lucky though. You do get a couple lucky wins with him. Because you should have lost to Washington and you could have lost yesterday. You look like all Americans of a good 500 team. When you lose your next game, that'll be it. So yeah, they just fired him. They should have never hired him. Had to get my setback on. I don't talk about the Bears, okay? Well, Caleb Williams got dealt a bad hand. Yeah, well, if you get to play the Giants every week, you'll win. You're 1-5 at home. Let's go pop. Let's get the confetti out. Man, come on now. Cowboy fans I know don't even want to talk about this season. They'd rather walk around with a paper bag over their head and act like they don't know what's happening or watch old highlights on YouTube than this is embarrassing. Well, you know I had to pick on old Daniel Jones, so I had to scorch him. I can't believe that. It had been a long time since y'all won, and you think, and that's the coach you want to keep? Yeah, okay. That's a sad commentary, but that's where the Cowboys are these days. Mhm. Yeah, okay. So Daniel Jones. Yeah, yeah. Talking about them Cowboys. What you want me to say? I think they got the right coach. I think that Herbert's gonna finally get some direction, but they a WIP, a work in progress. They need about another year or two. But I'm gonna tell you this. One of those two teams out of the Chargers and the Broncos will be a problem for Kansas City the next couple of years, especially once Mahomes gets over 30. So, and this is the chance they got a chance to be a threat. But they green this year. Probably will have more focus next year. There'll be a real problem in a couple of years. Well, I'd only grade him in accordance to centers. I won't grade him in terms of will he be considered one of the all-time greatest players? Yeah, he'll because of what he's accomplished. But does he move up the food chain? No. You know I'm hoping for OKC to smash the Lakers. OKC, hope Shea showcases it. Um, but that's the problem I have with the Chargers, though. So that's how I look at Jokic. The Knicks ain't winning no East. You tripping? They not winning no East. They not better than Boston. Them and Cleveland is gonna be interested in what Milwaukee does. They're not winning no East. But you could be a problem come postseason time. I'll give you that. Mm. Yeah. The Knicks ain't winning no East though. Let's keep the conversation going because I want to keep, be alert. So if you got any more comments, come on now. Hit the like and subscribe. Come on through. I can't tell if people freezing up or what's going on. Okay, breaking news. Oh yeah, that's not breaking news. He been did that. He been did that. He been did that. JJ Redick is like that cat who used to get bullied in school and he couldn't wait till he got grown and he started talking about everybody. And he lumped everything into a season and flavor, but he don't know the half of what he says though. Mhm. Very true. I don't think it's an angry old man. I think the lack of respect. How about that? How about the fact that see, I'm gonna tell you what he ain't gonna say because it's predominantly black. And brothers are not getting the same due, and the guys put in the work. Everybody he got a problem with put in the work. I don't think of him as angry from a standpoint like, "Hey, I'm married too." That's what he's trying to say. Okay. Well, Tim Hardwick again, they came at him and Will and everything. So I don't. No, I think he's got a valid point. I think he's got a valid point. And I'm not even the biggest Tim Hardaway senior fan, but he's got a valid point. They go out of their way to hype all the stuff of today and they act like, oh, these guys played with carpenters and they played with Crayolas and these guys didn't do half what they said. Yeah. Well, he has to make up for what he didn't do. They lost a brutal game last week, cost them a chance at a national championship. So he's just doing what he got to do. So we got. Did you take the poll question that I had? I don't know if he's going out bad. The only thing that he's doing is that he's fighting. Well, that's how they always do. I'm gonna say this. I did a video. Jermaine Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, did a song called "Word to the Bad." It was co-written by LA and Babyface, Daryl Simmons, Left Eye, rest in peace. He said, "Once your shade, was your shade wrong?" He talked about him. Michael Jackson had the track removed because it was defamation. Everybody's daddy is a Diddy in the industry. That ain't nothing new. But this is the thing. Let me get to the chase on this. If it has validity that there is discrepancies that's not accurate to what Kendrick said, they could get the track removed. Now, does he want the track removed because Kendrick lit in that butt or he actually got a legit argument? That's the way it comes in handy. But people are funny about the diss tracks today, so we shall see. So, um, like I said before, if you think Drake's got a chance to win the case, hit the punch. If not, so far, 70% think you do. Coaching Wizards in NFL right now, Andy Reid. That's a duh. Tomlin needs another ring, but say he's Tomlin is kind of like Eric Spoelstra. He finds a way to get it done. Mm, Sean McVay, well, he went to 2 Super Bowls, he's 1 and 1. But ask yourself, they didn't have the kind of run that you would associate with that team. So is he really a wizard? I mean, he's 1 and 1, but his team is not that good. They can be dangerous, but they can be had. So, what's he done post Gilbert? Top five best NFL defensive coaching wizards? Well, if you talking all time, or you talking about? I mean, that's kind of evasive question. Because obviously, you're gonna say Belichick. You're gonna say um, Tom Coughlin. You're gonna say the cat that's with the all time. Yeah. Oh yeah, Barty, uh, Landry, Buddy Ryan. Um, the cat that's coaching Kansas City right now, the defensive coordinator, defense coach. That cat, yeah, from the Giants. So that's what I kind of say. Those guys. I can't say. See what we got. Yeah, those are my top five all time. Offensive wizards. Don Shula, Bill Walsh, Paul Brown. I got to throw Andy Reid in there, and I got to throw Sherm Lewis in there. Sherm Lewis, she never gets no love. Sherm Lewis built all that tree out of Frisco, all that tree. He was gimmicky. You talking about Mrs. Doubtfire? Yeah, Doubtfire was gimmicky. Doubtfire looked like something with Kurt Warner, and then tried it with Mark Bolger, and it worked for about a year or two. Then Bolger got hurt, and that was it. Doubtfire didn't really. No, March more so than McCarthy, because March was doing X's and O's was strategically. How does McCarthy look in Dallas? How did it end in Green Bay? I wouldn't call it hardly no guru. You do like Doubtfire with them glasses and that hair. You ain't never seen that notice that March look like Doubtfire? Let's call him Doubtfire. Oh, Doubtfire. Yeah, if Mike Mars put a dress on and put a ring or put an earring on, be Doubtfire. Look like Doubtfire. He was smug too. I remember because Bolger looked like something there. Bolger had people fooled for a couple years. Mark Bolger looked like he was something. He looked like he was about it. And then they got hurt, and I forgot how they fell off. And when they fell off bad. And Doubtfire got fired. And I don't know whatever happened to Doubtfire, but he didn't get half the run you think he would have. It was after the New England Super Bowl. That's what happened. If Doubtfire had won that Super Bowl, Bolger was good for a minute. For a minute. Bolger was also like a better version of Jimmy Garoppolo. Bolger was a tier above him, but he was a tier below Kurt Warner. Don't get it twisted. Didn't have consistency. When he fell off, he fell off. A window. Yeah. I know I shock you when I go back like that too, because I remember that all that mess like yesterday. I remember because I got family in St. Louis and they was boasting and bragging about them. And they look good for a minute. But then that thing, the wheels came off, and then it looks like Cinderella, and the shoe broke, and that was it. So sometimes it happened like that though. Hmm. Oh yeah, for a minute. You always get those guys that come around for a minute where everybody's like, "Oh, that guy," you know. And then when it comes, the wheels come off, then it's over. For a minute, there's always for the moment cat. There's a for the moment cat. That ain't nothing new. How that's nothing new. Flashes in the pan, and then they get caught for what they are. Then they scheme and scam. Kevin corn on the cob. I remember they used to talk about Kevin corn on the cob, and that turkey didn't last long enough. No, but for a moment, again, you can have an outer body. See, in the NBA, that gives you a 10-year career. In NFL, you'll be riding the pine and you'll back up. You'll get what I call the Ryan uh Fitzpatrick gourmet special. Scott Mitchell was actually decent until he went to Detroit. That's where his career ended. There are some places that you go that your career is going to end. You're just a professional in name only. Your career is over. And that's what happened to him. He signed all that money and he stunk after that. He looked like something there for a minute. I'll give you an example. Probably it wasn't Jeff Hostetler. Who was it? Who was that dummy that played for Washington? He celebrated and he ran into the wall and got a concussion and fell up and walloped and his career was over. I forgot which quarterback that was. Was it Hostetler? It was one in Turkeys playing for Washington. It was a Monday night football game and he celebrated and that was the end of him. You always had these cats that had these out of bodies and they blow up and then they're just done. Bradford looks all right. Looks all right. Yeah. Well, wasn't that game? If you thinking like I'm thinking, wasn't that game where Washington was playing and it was third quarter and he ran and then he tried to do a body slam off the wall and then he fell and he was done and it was some mess like that. I think it was him. Yeah, I remember. Just saying. Yeah, Doug got ran out. They went with Mark Ripken. Joe Gibbs could do that though. Joe Gibbs had that uncanny ability to do that though. Because that cat took different quarterbacks and went to the Super Bowl. He was unique. He was unique that way. Yeah. Different era though. Unless Doug upset the powers that be, they wouldn't run him out today. But they did back then though. But that was a different era though. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I just got through saying. Trying to think, was it Hostetler? You remember that game was it on ESPN? Um, but no, it wasn't just him, no. It was the powers that be. Jack Kent Cook too. Jack Kent Cook was the owner of Washington. It wasn't just Joe Gibbs. But they did win with a Native American man, and the name was Mark Ripken. So you could take that for what you want to take it with. Joe Gibbs was actually equal opportunist because he won one with Joe Theismann, one with Doug Williams, and he won one with Mark Ripken. So believe it or not, he painted the ice cream truck. Phil Simms or Eli Manning, as far as what? I don't know. It was one of them turkeys. And you remember the game because it was a Sunday night game. That turkey did a body slam off the wall that never came back, and he was done. And he looked goofy too. I can't remember if it was hostile or not, but there was somebody went out goofy. Gus Farad, thank you. Yeah. He kinda did look like him though. Yeah, Gus Farad, he was a bum. He had a outer body, 3rd tier dude. Yeah, I forgot about Gus Farad. He Phil Simms or Eli Manning far as what, Jay Will? Far as what? Yeah, but I know Hostetler did end up playing for Washington. He became a journeyman, but yeah, it was Gus Farad. And Gus Farad was done after that game. Oh, I start the team with Phil Simms. Because actually Phil was more credible during their run. Because see, first of all, Bill Parcells wouldn't have tolerated Eli. Tom Coughlin did go along and it worked out. Parcells wouldn't have tolerated it. For me, he was. He did the intricacies. Eli's regular season career was he has stats, but he's erratic. You saw Stephen A. Smith and Jeff Saturday and the cats up there debating about Eli being a first ballot Hall of Famer and talking about it. And Stephen A. was right. If we could start him in January, that's a no-brainer. But we got to deal with him September through December, and sometimes he don't hit on all the right cylinders, you know. So remember, he was a 9-7 guy who won a Super Bowl ring, okay, but that's not the norm. I mean, think about the gimmicks he put out. He never led the Giants to a great record. Yep. I'm not the biggest Eli Manning fan, but I will give him his due. He came up big time in money time, so I can't even say that he didn't earn it, but I don't like Eli. But I respect him though. But Phil Simms did fit the system better. He did get, he was actually, had one of the greatest arms I've ever seen, but that's all I can say about him. He was full of himself. A waste. Great arm though. I used to watch him throw the footballs through the tires in the NFL competition. He'd be hitting them holes, but just didn't have enough to him. Do you see it was the case again like a week or two ago they kept showing tests? Well, that's part of what Kansas City allure is. I mean, it's kind of how it is. Brady had Giselle up there waiting. Tony Romo had Jessica Simpson up there waiting. When you winning, it's more noticeable. When you ain't winning, of course they hating too. I understand why they're hating because Patrick Mahomes is one ring from what both the Manning brothers got combined together. And Andy Reid is half of Belichick's jewelry. So of course they're gonna be making faces and things. It's getting warm in that room. Well, he just wanted to talk football, but that's part of what they do. Yeah, Jeff George had a cannon for an arm. He was bad, but he was an idiot. Him and cats like him and who's that one that flipped off the fans that played for the Denver Broncos? Jake Plummer. Oh yeah. So these are the them white boys that's them cats like Jeff George, Cutler too. Yep. Yep, the three amigos. George Cutler and Jake Plummer and Plummer. George Plummer and Cutler. That sounds like one name. Yeah. Plummer and Cutler. Three cats that could sling with the best, but their attitude and their smugness and their just yeah. Cutler was bad, but he just had a stank attitude. Just didn't really want to play ball. Just didn't want to play ball. Well, he mentioned the people that once he mentioned them, I can verify. Derek Anderson, but he wasn't consistent though. He could throw, but he wasn't consistent. And then of course when you're playing with Cleveland, you know how that goes too. Jamarcus, uh, yes, but when he got to the Raiders, he stunk. And he didn't have half a David Gerard career. And he didn't have half a Brian Leftwich career. But and he just didn't stay focused. In college, he was nice, but he came to the Raiders, he stunk. Got fat and rolled over. It's okay. We be wrong about a lot of these cats. It's okay. Ain't nobody gonna hold it against you. I remember him in Seattle. He was frustrating. When he was accurate, he was accurate. When he was off, he was off. He was frustrating. But he was better than Dan McGuire, Mark McGuire's brother, who was a big 6'7" of nothing, who sucked. Turkey was embarrassing. And Rick Meyer, who was the original number 3 before Russell Wilson, and he sucked. He was a precursor to Quinn that came out of Notre Dame. Rick Meyer was a bum. They had some real bums in Seattle. I mean, they had some brutal quarterbacks they went through. But Craig was good. When he was on, he was good. When he was off, he was yeah. Yeah, Jamarcus. mm, I remember them cats like yesterday. Either McGuire or Rick Meyer. I'd probably say Rick Meyer. They were high on Rick Meyer. Came out of Notre Dame and he stunk. He stunk. McGuire was just big 6'7" goofball. And none of his brother's skills, but I'd say it was Rick Meyer. And Hasselback was a lifelong second tier quarterback, but he came in fit. But they had went through some real growing pains with what they had. That don't mean that he was worth the hype he did. He still stunk. They didn't go nowhere. With Jim Zorn in '83, they went to the AFC Championship game. There was no championship games in Seattle until Hasselback came along. No one talks about Rick Meyer favorably in Seattle. I live near there. I'll tell you because they knew his mindset wasn't deep in the game. That's why. That's exactly why he didn't last long. He got out there, got paid. He was chasing them skirts, and that's what happened. He was chasing them skirts, and that's what happened. He ate them Twinkies, and that was the end of his career. And they knew that they didn't have much there with him. Had he been doing play action, and you know who could have been the best role model for him would have been Dante Culpepper. Roll that rock, and sling it in play action. That's where he'd have been effective. He just didn't want to do the grunt. Okay. If I get any more votes, I see what we got. I try not to. I have a buddy used to joke about him, and he sucked. He was a lifelong um, third stringer, corny, bad picks. The last thing I think he went to Cleveland. Oh, he was horrendous. But he was never no expectation, so it wasn't like you were shocked. Leftwich could throw, he just couldn't run. He was like the first brother we saw that was mobilely challenged as a black quarterback, but he could throw the ball, and and he did command the respect. He should be a head coach. He did a good job um, as an offense coordinator for Tampa Bay. He should have gotten some love. I like David Garrard. Garrard was nice. Leftwich was nice. Yes, solid. Nobody that's going to leap to the Hall of Fame, but oh, I remember Seneca very well. Jones Drew wasn't a quarterback. Fred Taylor, running back, you meant. Fred Taylor's one of those guys that you wonder how come he wasn't bigger as a running back because he had some moments. He had some moments. Jones Drew, kickoff returns, versatile cat, got dealt to Saudi Arabia. What about Hasselback, second tier quarterback? And I still remember when he talked that smack. I know where you're gonna go at with this. I remember when he played Green Bay with the flip, and he said, "We're gonna take the toss, we're gonna win the game." And then dude's like, okay. And then next thing you know, pick six. He was a little cocky. They got robbed, you could say, against Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, but he he did for what he was. Yeah, Jones Drew was strong, yo. I still remember that kickoff return. I remember that one. That dude could move too. He was tough. You got to be a football head to appreciate him because he was a versatile guy, very versatile. I'd say borderline Hall of Famer. Borderline. I say borderline. It depends. It's a lot of something going on, so I don't know. Borderline. I got about 8 more minutes before I'm gonna go. But yeah, OJ was. I agree because Roger Craig was a prototype for Shady, and Roger Craig was more memorable for me. I mean, considering the era what he did to do it out of the backfield, to run and catch and block. I mean, he paid a price for being a dual threat. So your juice was something else in the snow. Sometimes it's politics, yo. You know what politics? Maybe they didn't think that he met the criteria of Montana and Ronnie Lott. Maybe he said the wrong things. Yeah, but the Rams didn't have a bigger run, and what ended up happening to him is that there was Jerome Bettis. I think that he kind of played sometimes. Hmm. Comes down to that. Hmm. I remember. But if you don't play for a certain type of team and you know you're a stat pattern dude and you don't win, you did. They had to change the rules behind that too because they was talking about that. But sometimes cats say something and you're not always privy to it, and then they don't get heard from again. There's a lot of politics involved. Don't let the stats. See, and this also goes to the marketing of some of these cats. So you get forgotten. You know, cats got to know the rules, which they do. You know, some of these cats don't understand. They can't be scaring away folks so much, and then they do. Then they wonder why they don't get no love, and then that's why they don't get heard from, or they say the wrong thing, or they don't play the game. And the game is what's up. So before people ask the question, I don't make it up about playing the game. How you know I'm telling the truth? What did Michael Jordan say about Clyde Drexler? He said, "You're just as good as me." He said, "You just got to know how to play the game." He said that 32 years ago. Those were Michael Jordan's words. They weren't my words. I don't say scrubs are in, but let's just say the guys that weren't great. I'm not going to say there's no scrubs in the Hall of Fame. Who's a scrub that's in the Hall of Fame? Guys were good, but they weren't great. There's a difference between great and good. But ain't no scrubs in the Hall of Fame. Because when you start talking about scrubs in the Hall of Fame, you talking about some turkeys like Trent Dilfer or something like that. He ain't no Hall of Fame. Brad Johnson ain't on the Hall of Fame. Those are scrubs. They put good to great. They ain't put no scrubs in. Ain't nobody ever sat in there and I said that guy wasn't at least good. He did a lot of movement with his legs. He didn't have to. He did dribble nicely. He actually had so he did a little stutter step dribble. It was a broke variation of curly kneel, but he had a little stutter step dribble that he did. But his whole thing was going off hard from his left to his right of center when he would dunk. He had one move. And then he would do that one move where he would fade back and have his when he shoots the ball with both hands in the air. But they probably wouldn't. It was a different era. But he came from an era where he didn't try to play curly kneel. He wasn't trying to over dribble. Now you see, you ask me, not quite. So does you. So do you. Oh God, I gotta deal with this mess. Kyrie is very talented for what he do, but the problem with Kyrie is that he puts his own self to sleep. He ends up overworking it. It's effective when it's effective, but it has to have a playmaker along with him. Now they pick his pockets in the 80s and the 90s. They don't call it they pick his pockets. See, you're in an era now where cats let you, go left, right, loop, right. They would have came at him. First of all, he gets picked now. Oh, so let me go back, Jay Will, since you went there. You remember when he was with Brooklyn? You remember how he got stripped? You remember when Jalen Brown was on him? Tatum, they bided him up. They got swept. He was ineffective in that series, 4-0 with him, Durant, and Harden. Remember? He got his pockets picked. That's would have happened the norm in the 80s and 90s. What they would have told him back then is you can't be playing no cute ball. Because you know what? Isaiah Thomas could have done what Kyrie did, except more effective, because Isaiah could actually dribble. Isaiah Thomas would have taken the high pick roll and played off the thing. Kyrie's problem is sometimes he gets caught dancing too much, so he tries to fade left, fade right. Isaiah Thomas could do it. Now, you want to get into a good argument with these cats who are out here now? Ask them to look at Isaiah Thomas's era of how he played and how Kyrie would have worked up against that. Because Kyrie's been covered for the most part. I don't cover him, no. I respect Kyrie's work ethic. Don't always agree with everything he's done. But I do think he can't lead a team. That's his Achilles. Tried it with Gordon Hayward to Boston, Tatum and Brown will emerge. Couldn't do it. He never been a leader. Yeah, he showed you that. 2001. Kyrie ain't never led no team. He's a strong sidekick. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's not a leader. He had his chance with going Haywood in Boston, and they felt they were better off, and they went with Tatum. They went to Eastern Conference Finals. What was AI doing? I mean, what was Kyrie doing after he left Boston? He was in Brooklyn, and I know that owner was wrong for all that mess, but he didn't do nothing on the floor. He went to Dallas kind of like as a buyout. Do you understand? We both talking about both guys in their peak and their prime. Was AI ever considered a buyout? Kyrie was. Of course, I got D Wade. Come on now. D Wade carried his team better. D Wade was a better defender. D Wade, AI to me was a better pure scorer. But that's all he's got over D Wade. That's all. Because D Wade gave you buckets too, and D Wade made you have to stand on your heels. He had leadership qualities. He made his teammates better too. He made his teammates better. See, the thing about KD, talent wise, yeah, but the way he acts in terms of leadership, no. That's a touch. He's touchy because he's one of those guys. He wants to play, but some about him just is kind of Drexler or Harden, Clyde, because Clyde actually was in meaningful games. Harden's a better regular season player than Drexler will ever be. But in terms of where we totality, I'm taking Clyde. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. Harden is that is a good question. You would think it would be. You think it would be. It's not hard though, because Drexler did more overall. Harden though regular season was better, but he didn't do nothing in the postseason. Clyde played at another level in the postseason. Clyde went to three finals. Harden only went to the finals one time, and that was the role player with OKC. Yeah, because nobody cares, and they're an average team. That's why. Get excited now, but they're not gonna do nothing in April, or they're not gonna do nothing later. Who I would take? Alex English, because you couldn't stop nothing he could do. And I like Mitch Richmond a whole lot, but Alex English was a machine. You couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop him. You tell me about a guy who led the '80s in scoring. His name, and he wasn't a marquee name. That should tell you all you need to know. He could flat out score. Mitch was bad though, but Alex English was underrated. I mean, he was. If the Nuggets had him right now with Jokic, they go into the finals for the next 2 3 years. Who do I think was a better scorer of the two? I'm gonna be more biased towards Dantley because nobody really stopped Adrian Dantley in that box. Dantley was tough. I have not seen another guy who didn't appear to be super fast, but was so strong, got any shot he wanted, and owned it. Mikhail. I like Sigma's high shot at the top and all that, but Mikhail was like an octopus. Those arms, the way he could do. And Larry Bird once said if he played at his best, he said, "You play your best, you could be the best player in the league. You would be better than me." I believe it. I never felt that about Sigma, but I think Mikhail, he obviously, because you come from being a six man to a starter, yeah, Walton, because the Portland era alone, Patrick Ewing never saw that era. Walton was on another level. Early part of his career, if I'm going at the early parts and when they look their best, yeah, yeah, he did get a championship ring too, but there was difference of philosophies with him and Isaiah though. So that's how I look at it. Some good questions you got coming through, especially when someone asked me about Jack Sigma, because you going back. But yeah, I gotta give it to Mikhail on that one. Mikhail was I like Mikhail a lot. That boy, that man was like an octopus. That cat had more arms in a low post than anybody ever seen, because he went left, right up under you. Got you. Danley moved me a lot with his strength. Mikhail. Kemp was more athletic, and Kemp might be in my top 2 to 3 greatest in-game dunkers. His athleticism was freaky, but he didn't really give you nothing else. He had a nice little outside shot, but he never learned how to position himself as a player. And once his athleticism faded, what else did he have? He was kind of limited. Sad to say, but old buddy, an in-game dunker, as good as anybody you could name. Yeah, he got a ring with Detroit. They gave it to him. What you mean any Kemp stories? You talking about on the court or off the court? 'Cause off the court, he was populating half the Washington State. That's why he got so big. He became a clump. He went from Kemp to clump. Oh yeah, he was wild and in them streets smoking joints. He looked like he was high all the time. Him and Gary was trying to. He was macking. Hmm. And then he out Ward's welcome. That's why they traded him for Vin Baker, and you know the rest. And he ended up with Portland, Cleveland. He just became a big old donut. I don't know what had happened. I know he got there, you know. But in Seattle with him and Gary, because I used to know some folks who used to like see different people. That's all it was. And I recall a lot of certain things, you know, like I remember the time, I don't know if I ever told you about the Rasheed Wallace, Damon Stoudemire. They were in a Bentley and they got pulled over by 5-0 and there was nothing but fog coming out the car. I remember that story. That was hilarious. The Blazers used to have stories. They were known as the Jailblazers. They always had some stories. They were wilding. They were wilding. Mm, everybody that's been an NBA superstar has had some wild stories. Like I told you before, David Stern played judge and jury and cleaned up a lot of stuff you never heard about. But yeah, Kemp was wild in you. That's why when he had that court situation a couple years ago, he looked all broke down. Well, I told you about Wade Boggs. That was crazy. And Reggie Jackson's, Barry Bonds had some wild stories with that Asian woman he was married. That was crazy. I remember he did the Playboy interview. They had some strange stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. NBA cats got the wildest stories, yo. They usually do. The Laker pool parties, all that stuff was Diddy parties without the. Even though there wasn't no one underage, but there was some suspect going on. The 4 best dunkers to battle out in dunk contest, and who I got? Well, Vince Carter is one of them. He probably the best. Dr. J, Dominique Wilkins, and I'd say Jordan. If I had to pick those 4. And I'd probably say Vince and Dr. J would be compelling if I'm going with that. Who I want to see in game dunkers though was the 4 I would take. Vince, Sean Kemp, Dominique Wilkins,
Cali, yeah, but nothing. They got two out there. Oh, the Gordon and Levine, yeah. Meanwhile, we were watching LeBron, watching Cleveland and Golden State for 4 or 5 years, and you had Gordon and Levine. No, no, because to me, Aaron Gordon didn't learn how to play basketball till he got to Denver. It was nice, but it wasn't that wasn't the battle most people care about. If you talk to slam dunk aficionados, they're not talking about that one. And Zach Levine, he's still around with Chicago, stat padding and not doing nothing. Yeah, they were good and entertaining, but what did it do for their careers? Not much. No one talks about it. More people talk about Jason Richardson, and they still talk about Isaiah Ryder's West Coast Bay, the Bay dunk. They don't talk about. Listen, Aaron Gordon had Hops and Levine, but they're not mentioned with what Vince Carter did, or Jay Rich for that matter. I know that was like their finals for a few years. I know. Okay, I'm gonna go in 4 minutes. I got 4 more minutes to go because I've been on for 2.5 hours. So I gotta roll it. We'll be back tomorrow though, for sure. I'll probably be on early tomorrow. So names and things that they did, because he was just doing it to be doing it. That and the only reason why he did it, they brought the 3 point line in, and that one year he looked really good. That wasn't his specialty. But I'm one of those kind of people. If he put his mind to it, he could at least gotten to 35, 40%. It was a different era with the 3 point contest, and cats weren't living by it. He played fundamental basketball. That's why. But I bet you if he put his mind to it, I bet you he could have gotten good at it because there wasn't too much he couldn't do on the basketball court. You know, you got to remember that was a different era. It wasn't like what the league became, and he wore a lot of cats out. So, eh, you don't know. You might catch him. I don't know. But that wasn't his specialty. But I tell you, if he one of those kind of people, he figured out. He figured out. But they did bring the line in, and he did look good. So, so I'm gonna say about that. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. Let me see what's one. But I wanted today's game. They will frown on it, make him shoot it. No, no. I'll tell you why. Because DeMar DeRozan ain't no specialty as no 3 point shooter, and he gets to make it around. No, I think the guy that's got the talent side will be fine. Well, Carmelo wasn't all the type of talent as Michael Jordan. You see the kind of questions you asking, you got to look at the type of talent. Melo was not Michael Jordan level talent. He was a spot shooter, set shooter. He didn't play around like Jordan did. He didn't have a system. He never had a coach like Phil Jackson. He had George Karl. He didn't want to listen to George Karl. What happened to Carmelo's career after George Karl in Denver? I'm not even a big George Karl fan. What happened to his career after without him? Best coach he ever had. So he allowed himself just to be shooting shots on the left, right side. He had to stick in the league. That's all he was doing. But no one took Carmelo seriously. Jordan was the kind of guy that did a bit of everything. You can't compare a guy who's like a one trick pony who was talented what he did. But Carmelo's gonna be faded by a lot of people. You know why? Because you got a guy like Kevin Durant. You're not gonna remember Carmelo. That's why. Carmelo never had nothing to his game. Just saying. All right, I'm gonna get ready to roll. I will be back tomorrow. Appreciate everyone that came through. Thank you for the questions. Thanks for, and there's some great topics in here because it got me some inspiration. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay real, stay focused. Appreciate you all. Come back tomorrow. Look out for the thing tomorrow because I'm going to come early tomorrow.